Hey friends, and welcome back to the Reddit Rainbow. I sure hope your Wednesday treated you well, and I sincerely hope that you've grabbed your snacks, your vibes, and your delights because we're about to read this story called "I'm Considering Divorcing My Wife Because She Can't Get Over Her Mom Passing Away." Please mind the trigger warning. I tasked you guys with a question of discussion. I love that we're all on the same page here, that grief does not have an expiration date. It just kind of is. Now, take that in mind. Hold on tight and let's jump into the story. There are 2 updates which I will be posting in succession in the comments, and you guys, I only got a little bit, but the way I'm raging, let's jump in. Okay, let's jump in. So we start with, yeah, I know. Everyone is fired up at the title and ready to tell me what an asshole I am. To those people, I implore you to read the rest of this post before making a judgment, and I sincerely agree. Also note, this was written 2 weeks ago. My 36 male wife's 33 female mother passed away 5 years ago from lung, big C word. It was not a peaceful or easy passing. Our lives understandably went on pause after the diagnosis, and we spent a lot of time off work helping care for her mother. My wife had a pretty typical showing of grief at the time, cycling through the different stages. Same with our 3 kids. After she passed, however, my wife got really bad. I totally understand this. I can't say I know exactly what she went through because I haven't had a parent pass, but I understand how devastated she was. For months after, she could barely function. I gently took over pretty much all the responsibilities in the household and with the kids. She had been attending grief counseling since the diagnosis and continued after the passing. None of this is the problem. I endeavored to be as supportive as possible. She cried on my shoulder every night for months, and I just thought this was the worst of for better or for worse. The problem is that after 5 years, she does not seem any more functional. She stopped grief counseling about 4 years ago, so basically right at the start, and refused to go again, stating it would not help her and that nothing could. That is a huge red flag. I myself know how it's like to be incapacitated, but I knew getting help was going to help. It was just scary because I didn't think anybody would understand. I know better now. About a month before any major holiday, she will have a major downturn. In bed half the day, crying all day, does not want to interact with the family, does not have the energy to do anything around the house. This will go on every single day until about a week after the holiday ends. Every holiday is intense grief, just as much now as it was 5 years ago. October, November, December, January, her mom's birthday month, and I understand that because my own father's birthday was also in January, and I completely get it. Every year are particularly bad. I'm essentially without my wife and am a single parent to my 3 kids. Altogether, she's completely incapacitated by grief for about 6 months out of the year and has been for the past 5 years. And when I say incapacitated, I mean incapacitated. When she's in the depths of her grief, she's completely incapable of intimacy with me or the kids. Okay, never mind. There is no cuddling, spending time with us, going on family outings. I don't have relations for half the year. I've stopped asking her if she wants to talk about it because she can't get any words out between sobs if she tries. Also, I don't mean to write him off. I understand intimacy is very important in every sense of the word in a relationship. What hurts the most is that the kids have stopped asking or being concerned. That's another big ass red flag. If they see their mom in bed when they get home, they just go about their day and casually mention, oh, mom is sad today, if they're siblings, or I ask where she is. they don't really seek affection with her anymore because they rarely get anything more than tears. I've discussed this with therapists, my parents, friends, etc., and I know all the rebuttals people have for this, so let me preempt them. She is unwilling to go back to therapy for grief counseling or to see a doctor for depression. Yes, I know she's severely depressed. I can't force her to go to the doctor. I have tried so much. Yes, it really is just as intense as it was 5 years ago. No, I never tell her to get over it or blow her off. On my worst days, I just give space and leave her be. Most days, I try to offer her some comfort. If you want to judge me for leaving her alone, whatever. But know that I feel like I essentially have caretaker fatigue at this point. That right there is enormous. I've seen what caretaker fatigue can do to people. No, she does not have a history of depression, but she does have ADHD. I don't know if that's relevant. Of course it's relevant, but I feel like my wife passed away when her mom passed away. I would do anything to get her back, even a small piece of her, but she doesn't seem willing or able to move on past her mom's passing. I feel awful for considering a divorce, but I don't know what else to do. Again, this was written about 2 weeks ago. I told Slappa that I might have left her because I get it, but I couldn't imagine this, you know what I mean? But I also understand first row seat what she's going through. Little did I know that there were 2 updates, one of which was written today. I'm gonna be right back with the second update that was dated 1 week ago. Let's keep going. When's the last time you heard me say that? All right, so a few people mentioned I should have her involuntarily admitted to a medical facility. I didn't mention in the original post, but I did ask our family doctor about that maybe a year ago, and he told me that unless she is willing to commit harm to herself or others, it's unlikely to happen. I looked this up myself as well, and that appears to be true for the state that we live in. And also, honestly, for a while, that might be the worst thing you could probably do. She might think you're abandoning her, or she might come to understand. So I get it. Regardless, I get it. I do agree that she needs medical treatment. I suspect that during her year of grief counseling after her mom's passing, that she was not honest with her counselor. I have a distinctly sad memory of her coming home after one of her last sessions and telling me that her counselor said she probably wouldn't need to go much longer. Then she went and laid down on the bed and cried. Just gonna insert my own opinion here, if I may, just really quick. When I told my counselor that I was probably gonna have to stop seeing her because I was moving really far away, she encouraged me to keep reaching out to her. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But I also get, like, if you are a grief counselor, maybe your, like, book is full or something. I don't know. What do y'all think about that? Put it in the comment section or join the Discord. Anyway, I haven't been able to convince her to go back to counseling. However, I am glad I posted to Reddit because somehow I hadn't really considered that she might need more intensive treatment than just counseling. I also saw one comment that scared the hell out of me, that she may do something drastic if I give her a divorce ultimatum. With those things in mind, I don't think doing that is the best way to go. Instead, I'm planning to write her a letter explaining how we need her back and that we love her and care for her deeply, and she needs more help than we can provide alone, and tell her that she needs to go to the doctor and be honest about what she's going through. Thank you for your advice, everyone. That's the end of the update, the first update. To clarify some of that, some people were saying you should give her an ultimatum. If you're a listener to my podcast, that was very emotional for me, because while I was dealing and going through my own journey, Slappa gave me an ultimatum. It's either him or the booze, and I chose him. And it was a big ass wake up call for me. But I also know that not everybody's like that. So good on him for doing what was best for him and his situation. So that's it for the first update, but there is a second. Hey friends, and welcome back to the Reddit Rainbow. I'm not gonna hold you, let's keep going. Last update on grieving wife. Mind the trigger warning, please grab your vibes and delights, let's keep going, okay? I wasn't planning to post again, but got a lot of supportive messages asking for an update, so here we go. My soon-to-be ex-wife has completely lost her fucking mind, okay? Also, I have not read this story in its entirety. I've only made the slides and saw little bits and pieces, so we finna go through it together. After my last post, I spent a couple days writing the letter to her. In it, I explained that the kids and I love her dearly and that we're concerned for her. I outlined all the worrying behavior and told her that I believe she needs to seek additional medical care. I explained that it sounded like she had a complex grief. Thank you, everyone who pointed that out, and that the grief therapy she went 2 years ago was insufficient to help her get through it. I did not say anything about potentially divorcing her, but did say that the kids can't continue to live in their current situation. It was a long letter, and I really don't feel like transcribing it here, and nor should you have to. You're doing more than enough just by sharing with us your story. I read the letter to her the same night I finished writing it after the kids went to bed. After I finished reading it, she just stared right through me, a 1,000-yard stare for probably 15 minutes, and then she finally stood up and started walking to the door. I panicked and tried to stop her. Asked her where she was going. Can we talk about this? I'm concerned for your safety. And she rolled her eyes at me and said in the coldest voice I've ever heard her use, I hope when your parents pass away, someone doesn't tell you to just get over it. After that, I didn't try to stop her. I just let her go. Okay. I was pissed off for maybe 5 minutes before the panic set in. I legitimately thought that she was going to end herself. I checked my phone and she had turned her location off. I called and texted probably 50 times over the next hour, begging her to at least let me know she was okay and that she wasn't going to do something drastic. Right before I was about to call the police, I got a call from her phone. I answered immediately, and before I could get much of anything in, a man's voice told me she's fine, but she doesn't want to talk to you, and hung up. Hello? Sir. Hello? What? I felt like I was having an out-of-body experience at the time. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I almost called the cops anyway, but I was disassociating hard and talked myself out of it. I kept calling her phone all night, but no one picked up again. After about 2 a.m., it started going straight to voicemail, and I barely slept that night. When I woke up the next day, she was not home. I took the kids to school daycare. I normally do this, and my wife is normally still asleep when I do, so thank God they didn't ask me where she was. I tried calling my wife's phone more all morning, but still voicemail. I called her office and asked if she was at work, and they told me she had called in sick. So I called in sick as well, and basically just sat on my couch trying to get a hold of her while being a nervous wreck. I called my mom as well, good, tell her, and asked if she could pick up the kids from school today and watch them overnight. I didn't tell her everything that was going on yet, just that something had come up that was urgent and I needed some help. Okay, valid, don't raise all the red flags until we know, okay? My wife walked in the door sometime after 4. I tried to hug her like she was coming home from work, what? I tried to hug her and she shied away from me. She probably smelled like, bruh. I asked her where she had been. No response, just a blank stare. I asked her who had called me from her phone. No response, just a blank stare. At this point, I was frustrated and told her that if she didn't want to explain what was going on, she could get the fuck out, okay? I regret saying it that way, but holy shit, I was frustrated. So she started talking, but it was like I was talking to a text-to-speech AI with her voice. No emotion, totally flat, almost annoyed. She told me that she had gone to her friend John's house. I had no idea who the fuck John was and asked her to explain further. Over a 2-hour or so conversation where I had to pry details out of her, I got most of the story. No, you didn't. That's trickle truth. She was answering like a lawyer, definitely trickle truth. Very basic answers, no details or context outside of exactly what I was asking her, trickle truth. Basically, John is a coworker. I've met the dude once or twice at office party type events, but never really talked to him. I never saw him hanging out with my wife or showing interest in her, but apparently over the last year or so, she has been spilling all her feelings about her grief over her mother's passing to him, and he's been comforting her. Wow. He had a parent pass away from the big C word too, so I guess she felt they had a connection she didn't have with me. What is this, my sister-in-law? Go check the Psycho In-Laws playlist for that one. After I read her the letter, she says she realized that I don't care about her or her mom's passing and went to John's house to talk, be comforted. I flat out asked her if she was having an affair with him, and she told me no. I asked her why she never mentioned she was close friends with this unknown guy, and she told me it was none of my business. I asked her if anything had happened between them while she was there, and she says that they cuddled and he held her while she cried. Bro, they fucking. I asked to see her phone to check messages between them, and she refused. Fucking. I couldn't get much more detail out of her about the whole situation. So when she went to take a shower, I tried to check her phone, but she changed her passcode. I grabbed her iPad, which still had my thumbprint biometric signature in it, and checked there. I left the house with the iPad to look for evidence while she was in the shower. I did not immediately see any messages to or from a John, but after digging briefly, I found it. She had put him in as Stacy in her contacts, but it was obviously him. There were texts going back well over a year. A lot of her talking about her mom, a lot of him comforting her, a lot of him telling her I don't really care about her, and that he would never treat her that way if they were married. All of her replies were in agreement. A lot of texts from her complaining about me, a lot of him trash talking me. I'm still so shook in a number of ways, but one of which I thought she was completely incapacitated. I didn't even know she had a job. Like, the night she left, she texted him, "Fuck it, I'm on my way if the offer is still there," followed by an immediate yes. Oh my God. Then the next morning, a text from her to him saying, if he asked, we just talked. I threw up out my car door in a Walmart parking lot for 20 minutes. Oh my gosh. I came home and found her on the couch on her phone, seemingly unconcerned or unaware I had even left. Girl, I told her that I knew and that she needed to leave. Again, she just stared at me for a while, not responding until I got aggravated and told her to get the fuck out of my house. She immediately got up, told me, "John was right about you," and left. Bitch, go get him then. Fuck, man. The way that I was sticking up for you, you fuck. Okay. I haven't seen her since, bro. There's probably a lot going on. Okay. I told the kids she went to visit her parents. I don't know what to tell them, but I have to tell them something soon. I don't even really know what to do. Ostensibly, I need to divorce her, but going through custody, child support, etc. is dizzying. I feel paralyzed and I haven't made a move yet. I know she's lost her mind and this is probably some kind of psychotic break, but I just can't care anymore. I put on a brave, numb face to go to work, then for my kids at night, and then cry after they go to bed after I fall asleep. I feel like my life is over. I do feel like John took advantage of her vulnerability, but I don't even want to bother trying to get her to see that he's a predator. She chose this over her fucking family that has stuck with her. I don't think I'll be posting any more updates or logging into this account anymore. And that's the finale of the post. It took me several times to read that without just absolutely going apeshit. Everybody in the comment section is just basically like, wow. People are like, definitely a midlife crisis. Some people are calling her a narcissist. Let me know if you want me to read some of the comments. I definitely will, but I mostly want to hear what y'all have to say about this. This was a wild ass fucking ride. So much nuance and just you know what? I'm just gonna read your comments. Y'all know that's my favorite part. I love you guys. Y'all take it easy out there. Holy jeez. Hey friends, so this commenter says, I'm only 2 months into my mom passing away and it hurts every day. I don't feel like the same person anymore. Every year I bring up this talking point that when you lose someone, it really feels like a blow, like a physical blow to yourself. It truly feels like somebody like punched a hole in your body. Like, I can't even describe the level of pain I feel or felt. Both is good. But something that really gets me through the day, though, is that just like a wound, you grow back different. When you are hurt, you get scars. And sometimes, if those scars are bad enough, it leaves a mark. And no matter what you do, it's always going to be there. It is a permanent scar on you. So when you say that you don't even feel like the same person anymore, it very much changes you. You very much are a totally different person. But when you heal, and everybody heals different, it's gonna leave a mark. You just learn to live with this new mark. You learn to live with this new wound, this trauma. You learn to live with it. And every once in a while, you can poke that wound and it'll hurt like fuck. Sometimes you might bump that bitch up against the wall or something. AKA, remember something, smell something. And it's gonna hurt like fuck again. You know what I mean? You are different, but that's okay. Learn to live with your new normal. What is normal anyway, right? I know it's only been a couple months, but just take time for yourself and don't expect anything other than what exactly you're going through. The motions. Just please never forget that there are people out there like myself who are just like you, who fresh in it, but just know that you're not alone. Please never forget that you are not alone. I always talk about the dark waters of grief. It is dark and it is wet and it's uncomfortable and it's fucking terrible, but you're not alone in those waters. I love you guys. I hope y'all have a good night. Mwah.